Okay, so generate equivalent ratios on the double number line. We have this problem here. Marisol and Julia are making red and blue beaded bracelets in the school colors to wear to pep assembly on Friday. Use double number lines to model and answer the following questions. Okay, part A. Marisol made her bracelet using a ratio of red beads to blue beads of 5 to 7. If she used 42 blue beads, how many red beads did she use? Okay, so here we should use a set of double number lines. Okay, so let me draw it here. I'm going to use the top line for the red beads and then the bottom line for the blue beads. Okay, so the line will start from 0. That means with 0 red beads to 0 blue beads. Okay, and then we go back to the ratio. 5 red beads to 7 blue beads. Okay, so here I'll put 5 reds to 7 blue. And then that means 10 red to 14 blue beads. And so on. Okay. Okay, so 30, 35, 40. I think I'll stop here and then move down to the blue line. Okay, if you notice that the blue line is is increasing in the multiples of 7. So we start at 0 and then we go to 7 and then 14 and then it will be 21, 28, 35 and then 42 and then 49 and 56 and so on. Okay, now it seems like we have the answer to part A, because in part A it asks here, it asks if she used 42 blue beads, how many red beads did she use? And then you look at the double number line here. 42 blue beads, which is right here, and then you look at the corresponding number for red is 30. That means for every 42 blue beads, she will use 30 red beads. Okay, so now let's answer the question. Okay, so we just type out the answer. If Marisol used 42 blue beads, she would also use 30 red beads. Okay, and then now we move on to part B. Julia made her bracelet with 30 red beads and 45 blue beads. She decided to make a similar bracelet for her younger sister using the same ratio of red to blue beads. She used 20 red beads and then 35 blue beads. Will her sister's bracelet have the same ratio of red to blue beads as her own bracelet? How do you know? Okay, so let me highlight the essential information here. 30 red beads and 45 blue beads. And that is the ratio that Julie is using. But when she made the bracelet for her sister, she's using 20 red beads and 35 blue beads. And now we need to find out whether it's actually the same ratio or not. And we're going to find out by using a set of double number lines. Okay, so I'm going to draw them. Okay, I will use the top line for red and then the bottom line for blue. The ratio that we need is 30 red to 45 blue. So I will start from 0, okay, 0, 0. And then I will just go in the increment of, let's say, 10. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then as for blue, so remember every 30 red beads is 45 blue beads. Okay, so I'm finding, okay, so 30 is right here. This is 30 red. And then when you look down the line down here, that means this is 45 blue beads. So I put 45 here. Okay, now we have to figure out what numbers to put in between 0 and 45. When you look at it, to go from 0 to 10 to 20 to 30. So let's say from 10 to 30 here. You multiply 10 by 3 to get 30. So now, I multiply this number here, which I don't know yet, by 3, I will get 45. So, something times 3 gives me 45, and I can't come up with that number. Then I'm just going to use long division here. I'm finding some space, and then use long division and figure out what number times 3 gives me 45. Okay, so 45 divided by 3. 3 goes into 4 one time. And then this is 3, and then 15. 3 goes into 15 5 times. Okay, so this is 15. That means I'm going to put 15 right here. And then now we have to figure out what is in between 15 and 45. So 15 times 3 gives you 45. Then, in other words, then 15 times 2 will give you this number. 15 times 2, I think I could do that in my head. That's 30. Okay, so 30. And now, when you look back at the question, she used 20 red beads and 35 blue beads. I think I have my answer here, which is right here. 20 red, but then I have a problem. So let me circle this. Twenty red, if she used the original ratio, she should be using 30 blue beads instead of 35. Okay, so now we have our answer to the question. Will the sister's bracelet have the same ratio of red to blue beads as her own bracelet? And the answer is no. And how do we know? Because if she followed the original ratio, then she should be using 30 blue beads instead of 35. Okay, so let me type this out. Okay, so the answer is no. Her sister's bracelet will have a different ratio than the original ratio. She will have to use 30 blue beads to maintain the original ratio.